You know I'm not happy about being out, so I wanted to make sure that I helped you use your time productively today. So I'm going to walk through how you need to label and modify your journal in order for it to be ready to get your best grade on Friday. So you're going to make sure that your first and last name is on here. Make sure you leave a space. You can see you don't put it right next to the colon. You leave a space, and then you write your name. Mine's going to be Mildred. Mildred is a peasant. Okay, and so you're putting your role and your character's name in the journal. And I'm always kind of funny about spacing. And so we already had done the transitions, but if you were absent, we actually jumped to letter B and we went through and we looked for any place where there were words or phrases at the beginning of sentences that had some connection to how the events in the story work together. And so these are adverbs, which are one word, prepositional phrases like this one, or even dependent clauses like this one. And by finding the phrase and the clause, you want to look for where does that phrase or clause end. It's not just while. It's while I didn't doubt he could have done the ghastly acts he threatened, it was but a tough kindness. And I know up there it said 10. After looking at some of your journals, it's likely that you don't have 10. So I just want you to find as many as you can. And so these are all of my transitions that I have found. And actually, I think this one goes all the way here. No, it's just too thick. All right. So that part we did the day that we copied and pasted. If you need to continue doing that, go ahead and pause the screencast now. And then yesterday, well, on Tuesday, we worked on the dialogue. So you were going and finding 2 examples of dialogue. And so you're highlighting them in yellow. So here's mine. You see, I said, I can do that. I know it's dialogue because it's got quotation marks around it. It's got a speaker and a speaker tag. And then I had another one down here. And notice that each speaker tag is its own paragraph. Now, in looking at your dialogue, and if you have more than 2, I want you to pick the 2 that you think are your best examples of writing. So verbs that have really good description in place of said, and that have some elaboration here, more than just he cried. It's he cried out when I first did. So I can tell right here where it says, you see, I said, I can't do it. I need to add a little bit of elaboration here. Number 1, I have said. So I might say, I insisted in frustration, because I could tell that's how he was feeling in that moment. I've changed my verb to be more vivid, and I've added a little bit of an elaborative phrase. Okay? So you're going to pause that. You're going to go back and check the screencast, look at my punctuation, see where the beginning of the quote is. If it's at the beginning of the sentence, you need a capital letter, you need a comma, an end quote, a space before your speaker tag and your speaker and speaker tag. And you can see mine is a split. So there's another comma, and then another space, and then another quote. Okay, now down here, I have a split quote, but this one is actually its own sentence. There, you've done it, he cried out when I first did. You've done it is its own sentence. And then he says another sentence, tell me that you didn't hear it too. So because that's a new sentence, it gets its own capital letter. You can also look in the dialogue presentation that we have in Google Classroom, but one of the things I'm going to be really picky about is your punctuation and your capitalization here, and whether or not you have said, which is dead, so you had to find something better, and some kind of elaboration. So again, if you need to pause this, go ahead and pause before you move on and make sure that you have 2 pieces of dialogue highlighted in yellow. The next thing we're going to look for are some varied sentences. Okay, and so we're going to highlight 2 simple sentences in orange. Simple sentences have just one subject and one verb. They can have lots of phrases in them, but just one subject and one verb. 2 compound sentences. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to change this to 1 compound sentence and 1 simple sentence. 1 simple, 1 compound, and 2 complex. You know what? Let's just do 1. 1 simple, 1 compound, 1 complex. So compound sentence, you're looking for a independent clause with a comma and a coordinating conjunction, and that independent clause. For a complex sentence, you're looking for a dependent clause, which starts with a subordinating conjunction with a subject and a verb, and it should be added to another independent clause. Okay, so you're going to go look for those and highlight them as you find them in the appropriate color. So I see a sentence here, I offered him back his pipe. I is the subject, offered. And so that is a simple sentence. I'm going to highlight that in orange. Now I'm going to look for a sentence that has a comma and a conjunction. Let's see. I took up the recorder, comma, and with fingers like soft clay, I tried to play. Now, because I already have the beginning of that highlighted in green as a transition, I'm going to leave that part alone, even though it's technically part of the sentence, and just highlight the main part of the sentence that's, in blue, that is the compound part. And now I'm looking for a complex sentence. Let's see. Oh, I see a couple more simple sentences. Oh, here's one. What came out, there's my dependent clause, were sorry, shallow squeaks. Okay, and there's my independent clause. So that is my complex sentence, which I said is going to be in purple. Okay, then I'm going to read it from beginning to end. And from beginning to end, I'm going to look for paragraphing. Do I have places indented where I think new paragraphs should start based on tip top? So I'm looking for time and place and speaker and topic. If I see places where I think I need commas, read it so you can hear it. Listen for those pauses. If I see capital letters, I'm going to do a spell check. If you don't have Grammarly, I suggest you get it, but if you don't, you can go up here and do Tools, Spell Check. So that's your task for the rest of this period. Get this ready to be turned in and be graded. The screencast is over. The rest of the time is yours to either work on that, or when you're done with it, go ahead and submit it, and you can work on either reading your class novel or working on your mastery grid. When you are done, I want you to go up to my desk, and hopefully the sub has some stickers on my desk. And so for just a little bit of a brain break and to get you out of your seat, as soon as you're done watching the screencast, I want you to go grab a sticker now. Make sure you do it in a way that is not disruptive to anybody else in the class. Yeah, and you can put on your Chromebook or wherever. If you have any questions, please make sure you email me.